Hey guys, Colby here. Welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. So with the end of the clan boss draft, if you guys saw the news already, then you might know on who won and who are the losers, all right, and who did the least amount of damage. So if you don't know about that, you can go and check it out, check the whole thing. But today I will be breaking down the team that I had for the clan boss draft, my thinking behind it. Of course, they restricted access to us from the test server, so I can actually show you the whole builds and everything. I do have screenshots available, but I will just explain on the teams that I had in mind. So starting up first, as you guys know, my team managed to do over 100 million damage, which I was honestly very surprised with it. The MVP, of course, was Krisk in there for his utility. He extends the buffs. He was the only ally protector actually, and I had a guardian set on my Godseeker Aniri. All right. The good thing about Krisk was that he was able to provide all that protection on his own and actually make the team survive so long without needing a second ally protector. Of course, if I did have someone, then I would need to drop a lot of damage, and that honestly didn't help me survive as much as I wanted because I didn't have those big shields available from a Valkyrie or from a Brogni. Those would have allowed me to survive way longer, but without those big shields you can't really survive with just ally protection. All right, you need some other sort of mitigation, and of course the shields or other ways to limit damage. Let's say a perfect veil, or something like, let's say, the Geomancer deflection passive. All right, so my Krisk, the way that he was built, I'll put up the build right now. So here's my Krisk's build. As I'm talking through it, I built him specifically in Stalwart because that helped me survive way more than let's say Guardian set. Stalwart actually allows you to protect from AoE damage that you received from the clan boss, not single damage, but the single damage was always going on to my poor little Farak in the Fat. All right, so the Stalwart set was amazing for that specific thing because it reduces damage taken by 30% from AoE attacks. It doesn't reduce the damage that you take from the ally protection though, so that's different, but it does reduce that first initial hit that Krisk would receive. And the way that I built him was, of course, accuracy for him to land the decrease attack and decrease defense that he has. And the exciting thing about the build that I was running with everyone was the refresh accessories, which those allow you to actually refresh through your cooldowns. And because I was running an infinity buff, there was no chance for me to lose a buff because this was not tuned. Okay, so lots of speed on everyone, as you will see in these builds, and refresh. And the masteries that I did on him were very similar to these, okay, that I have for my Krisk on the for Hydra. Okay, but I did not have rapid response because his buff would never expire or be removed. I did have this one, the Arcane Celerity, because this was for debuffs that expire or I removed. The debuffs would expire, let's say the decrease attack or decrease defense, and those would help me getting a little bit of a boost to the Terminator. All right, very similar builds, but the gear is of course much different. The gear that I actually use for this setup for the CB draft. The next champion in the list is of course my Lanakis. So my Lanakis on the actual count is a +1. I barely use her. Honestly. I was building her for the exact same reason, to try and do it like a Krisk setup, but I had other things in mind, so I stopped doing them. So the actual Lanakis that I was using on the test server was this one with the Toxic set. The Toxic set allows you to just ramp up your damage, plus the refresh accessories to refresh through that A2, which allows you to do that ally attack plus increase in cooldowns, increase in duration of your buffs, plus the 30% Terminator boost was insane. I actually had her way faster than this, but her damage was significant, and she just survives because of her A1 skill. Her A1 skill is this one, if you guys don't know. Applies a continuous heal buff on this champion for 1 turn if the attack is critical. That is very crucial to actually help you survive. If you have like 2 or 3 of these, like the AoE attacks will hurt, but the ally protect helps you survive. And then the continuous heal heals you to full once you get your turn, which she would get the turn because she was fast enough. This was locked out because I didn't want to have that extra RNG. And this skill was the one that I hoped for it to be refreshed as often as possible. All right. And Lanakis was just amazing in that. Then we have Martyr. So Martyr, do I even have Martyr right here? To show you guys, my normal Martyr is a +0, right? +3 on the on the test server though, because I did get her did get her empowered almost 95,000 power with the life steal set plus crit damage. I don't think I run crit damage actually during the run, but very high defense, high crit damage there with accuracy also, because she does apply the decreased attack. She's got an increased defense buff available to everyone, and that helps basically also support the team in terms of surviving. And the life steal set, I needed that for her to heal back to full, because I didn't have another way for her and Farrakhan the Fat to heal. The masteries were pretty basic masteries of War Master, but instead of defense tree, I went for Steadfast here. A very important mastery if you want to specifically target someone else to be the stun target other than the leader, because initially when everybody's at 100%, it's void, the leader gets the stun, and that's how it works. All right, and next up I had, let me just show you guys. Next up I had should go over to Farrakhan the Fat, because we went through the legendaries. Farrakhan the Fat is next, and Godseeker Aniri. Godseeker, very similar build, but I went for the extra little bit of damage from War Master, and the support route again with Steadfast, extra bit of healing, and again refresh accessories. But this time I used a Guardian set, and this is her gear right here, Guardian set, and it helped her survive a little bit longer with the Immortal set, because she would heal every time she would take a turn through these two sets, plus the refresh on her heal on the A2 would be very helpful in getting everybody topped up in terms of life. And at the end of the run, you'll see that it actually was she was suffering a little bit, and at the end of the run she would start getting the single target attacks by the clan boss. And finally, Farrakhan the Fat, which I think was like the hidden MVP in terms of how I used him. This one is my actual Farrakhan the Fat. So this specific passive right here deflects 20% of incoming damage this champion receives onto all allies. The damage will be spread equally across all allies. This helped him survive those big hits from the clan boss. He had damage from HP burn and poison every 3 turns. He had increased crit rate, increased crit damage to everybody else, not him. But he would receive the buffs from Lanakis at the start of the run. And his build was very similar to this, but did not go support tree. I went the defense tree instead, because the defense tree also allowed him to survive a little bit longer, but also I didn't want to get Steadfast on him. I wanted him to be the stun target, and this was the build that I ended up with higher defense than I would like, so lower attack. And the reason was I wanted him to be a little bit tanky for those big hits from the single target damage. And that was the idea behind the build. It was like refreshing everybody's cooldown with the accessories, having everybody be at least at a 2-to-1 ratio when attacking, so I could get high enough damage. And the team managed to get over 100 million. And now it's just gonna be I'll just be showing you the run, and you can actually enjoy the full team in action and see how everything worked and all of the buffs and all the damage that the team could do throughout the run. The run is not that long, but I will have it at a 2x or 3x speed just to make it easier for you guys. So starting up the run, you can see my power 337,000, and we go into the clan boss fight. I start this on manual, where I do buff with Lanakis there, and I get all the buffs on everybody, all the buffs that should be on everybody, so I can start extending them. Okay, the same thing goes with everybody that can provide them. They should be up before I start with Lanakis and Krisk. And the whole idea behind the team is to get those buffs to infinity, so none of them drop off throughout the fight and throughout the turns that this team manages to survive, and get as much damage as possible out of the whole team. And you can see actually at the end on how much damage Martyr managed to survive in the couple of turns, in the amount of turns that she managed to go for, and she hits for quite hard. I was honestly surprised at the damage she managed to do by the end of the run. Everybody else does what they're supposed to. I had Krisk A3 locked out because, as I said, I had that as an infinity buff, and the run pretty much goes for auto. The best run that I did was honestly this one. The other runs that I did could go worse than this, because some of the buffs would sometimes drop off when I had very, very bad RNG, when the refresh accessories would not proc even a single time. That would be the best, that would be the worst kind of situation. And the best for me would be to have multiple refreshes happening on everybody, and those would allow for the buffs to go to 9 or 10 turns, and that would be very comfortable for me. I didn't have to watch over the team, and I would get the run that I wanted. So guys, enjoy the rest of the run. I hope you enjoyed this CB draft. We did this competition. I did the best that I could with, I think, with the champions that I did end up drafting, and with those champions I did pretty well, considering that over one key, like 30% on void. I had to have a stun target. I didn't have the affinity bonuses. I didn't have any big shields or, you know, those passive damage champions. So an example would be like Geomancer or Brogni. All of those would have helped the numbers go way higher. But of course, when you go for Krisk and you have to do like another champion 8 turns after that, it kind of becomes very hard to select you know, those very, very strong champions that go well with Krisk. So enjoy the run. I hope you guys enjoy the whole competition. There will be more in the future. I'll see you guys in the next one. Subscribe if you haven't already, and thank you all for the support. I'll see you soon.
There's a fire dancing in my flame, tranquility. Is anybody here beside me? It's possible I make believe. As long as I can feel your body, it doesn't matter if it's real. You ease my mind ambitiously. There's a shadow dancing